comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? It's DK Wrestler here from a Funko Popcast, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single Dwight Schrute Funko Pop from the Office lineup. But before that happens, make sure you press the subscribe button for more content like this video in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, guys, let's check it out. So like I said, today's video, I'm going to be ranking every Dwight Schrute Funko Pop that Funko has made for the Office lineup. Now, as I'm recording this video, it is early January, and Funko Fair 2021 has not yet kicked off. And also, as this video gets released, it will be the day after Funko Fair 2021 officially kicks off. So if there so happens to be another Dwight Schrute Funko Pop that gets announced within the next Office wave, if there's one that gets announced, which is a huge most likely because there's always going to be at least a couple Dwight Pops in an Office wave, then those won't be featured in today's video. Now for this, I will be using the Tier Maker website and ranking all 16 Dwight Schrute Funko Pops, which the categories I made, the worst category to the best, there will be 5 of them. It will be false, assistant to the regional manager, assistant regional manager, and then the top tier being identity theft is not a joke. So without further ado, let's rank every Dwight Schrute Funko Pop.
Alright, so here are all 16 Dwight Schrute Funko Pops that are in the entire Office lineup, including the Scranton Boys 2-pack and the Pop and Tea bundle. So starting off with the Dwight Schrute New York Comic Con shared with Amazon bobblehead exclusive. That's the Dwight with the bobblehead. I'm putting that at assistant regional manager. That's because it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. I do like the expression on Dwight's face. Obviously the same one for basically every Dwight Pop to kind of show that it is Dwight, but I do love the detail involved with the bobblehead itself. I felt like that could have been such a major screw up as terms to the paint job, but the only thing that could have made it better and probably would have went to regional manager is if the bobblehead actually bobbled. Then we got ourselves here the Recyclops version 1 Dwight from Emerald City Comic Con 2020 shared with Walmart, and then it's going to Identity Theft is Not a Joke. It is my favorite Recyclops variant from the entire series. There are 5 variants, but Funko only made 3, and the colors that they used were awesome. There's like 5 shades of green. I love the little eyeball on the bandana and even the milk carton. So awesome. And the quote was perfect for this because it is the right quote for this Recyclops variant, which I'll get into how it's kind of inaccurate for the other Recyclops variants in a little bit, but it is one of my favorite Dwight Schrute Pops overall. All right, so the next pop we're going to look at is Recyclops version 3, which this is going to assistant regional manager. Reason being is because it is a very cool version of Recyclops. However, it's a little bit inaccurate in the sense of on the kind of logo that's on the chest there, it's supposed to say kill and not punish. But I think it's also because Funko kind of wants to be a little like family friendly and they don't want to add the word kill. And also the quote is inaccurate because with the 2 Office Pops that are the Recyclops Pops after version 1, they're kind of very inaccurate as the quotes. Like the quotes are perfect for the actual version 2 and 3, but the 2 that we have here are actually version 3 and 5. If you're a huge fan of the show, and you probably know that. The detail's very cool with this pop, and it has the newer box, which is nice. That's why it's at assistant regional manager. If it had a better quote though, and it was a little bit more accurate, it probably would go to regional manager. Then we go to Recyclops version 2, which this is going to false. It is not the greatest Dwight Schrute Funko Pop. First of all, the goggles look weird in person because they got holes in the eyes. The outfit is basically spot on, but there's a lot of factors to why it's at false. First of all, the quote is inaccurate, and also it kind of screws up with my collection because it has the older box, yet it's in the 1000s, and already they have an Office lineup in the 1000s that have the newer box, like the Recyclops version 3 as they're calling it, but I'm calling version 5. And it's just not one of the greatest Recyclops. Plus, my initial reaction was that they should have saved the Recyclops characters for Emerald City Comic Con, which is why also version 1 is at that top tier there, is because it makes sense to be Emerald City Comic Con because green and saving the earth, and that's what the character is about. So they should have saved Recyclops for Emerald City Comic Con and not make one for each of the 3 big Comic Cons. All right, so now we're going to look at the Dwight Schrute with the Jello stapler, which I'm going to put this at assistant regional manager. Reason is, once again, I think this is a cool pop, but it's not the greatest pop. It wouldn't be in that regional manager tier. It obviously has a cool quote because it's explaining about how Jim had pranked them. I totally forget how the quote exactly goes, but it was one of the first pranks that actually kicked off this ongoing feud between Jim and Dwight that I love so much with the TV show. But at the same time, I just feel that there are much better Dwight Schrute pops than this one specifically. Then we go on to Dwight Schrute as the Dark Lord, which I'm going to put this assistant to the regional manager. It's not one of the greatest pops. I felt like they should have added a lightsaber to Dwight Schrute's hand for this pop because it would have been a little bit more like a Sith Lord, but I'm not exactly sure if it's possibly a Star Wars licensor issue of why they couldn't add a lightsaber, or Funko had just decided let's not put a lightsaber. But when I first heard about this, I was really excited, but it kind of let me down when this first got released. But I do own this pop because obviously I'm looking for a complete office collection. Then we got ourselves Dwight Schrute as the Scranton Strangler, which is gonna go into falls. I felt like it was very pointless for this to be made, at least right now, and it also looks kind of weird in my opinion, especially when you have the popified eyes with that black mask. It almost kind of like really blends in together, almost like it doesn't even show that it has eyes. And I felt like also the quote shouldn't have been the quote that it is. I can't remember exactly what the quote was, but I know I wasn't all that big of a fan of the quote that was used on the top flap of the box there. Now we go to what I'm pretty sure as I'm recording this video to be the newly released Dwight Schrute Funko Pop, and that is Dwight Schrute as Pam Beesly, and I'm putting that at regional manager. It is definitely one of the cooler Dwight pops. This moment was awesome when Dwight decides to dress up as Pam and throw snowballs at Jim. The only reason it's not at Identity Theft Is Not a Joke is because I felt like they should have made a multi-pack involving this one and the other characters that Dwight dressed up as in this episode, such as Meredith, Stanley, I think he dresses up as Creed, I can't exactly remember, but there was at least 3 different characters, including Pam, that he dressed up as, and especially the quote that they used on the top flap of this pop was super perfect, and it would have been way cooler if they made it a 3-pack. Now we got ourselves the Target exclusive Pop and Tea bundle of the blonde-haired Dwight, which this is going to assistant to the regional manager. The pop itself is not the greatest looking pop. It's just the normal Dwight Schrute variant from the very first wave, and they made it a repaint of blonde hair, and then they just added the t-shirt and the pop. The only reason it's not even at false is because it's a part of a Pop and Tea bundle, and that both the box and the t-shirt are what makes this pop. All right, so now we got ourselves the very first OG Dwight Shrew Pop, which I am putting this at. Which one do I want to put it at? I don't know. Oh, I didn't think this one through. Okay, I know it's one of these two. It's going to be regional manager or Identity Theft Is Not a Joke. I'm going to put it at Identity Theft Is Not a Joke. Honestly, the reason is because when I first looked at this pop and it first got announced, it was honestly like, wow, this is one of the most realistic human pops that I've seen of a certain actor. It looks exactly like Rainn Wilson. It looks exactly like Dwight Schrute. Definitely deserves to be an Identity Theft Is Not a Joke. All right, so now we got ourselves the Walmart exclusive Hey King Dwight, which this is gonna go to assistant regional manager. Once again, it is a very great pop because of the amount of detail it is, but personally, I think that if I look back at some of my favorite Dwight Schrute moments, I don't think that the Hey King episode would be on that like top 5 list of like favorite moments from Dwight, so it definitely deserved to at least be in assistant regional manager. I'm not exactly sure though what could make it possibly go to regional manager, but I definitely don't think it would be under Identity Theft Is Not a Joke. Now we go to the Dwight Schrute as Elf Pop, which this is going to go to assistant to the regional manager. It's not one of the greatest pops, plus it's part of that like tiny Christmas wave of office pops where I don't even think even this one should have been made at least yet. I don't know, personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of the pop. I do think a lot of the Dwight Schrute pops are better than this. Now we're going to look at the Bell Snickle Dwight, also a part of that Christmas lineup, which this is going to Identity Theft Is Not a Joke. I love this episode. I love this moment, and I love the detail involved in this pop, especially when you have like these scuffs going on Dwight's face, and you have the whole outfit, and even the quote on the back is perfect. I actually don't own this pop yet, surprisingly, but I do need to get on that because it definitely is one of the best Dwight Schrute Funko Pops made. Now we're going to look at the FYE exclusive Dwight Schrute with CPR Mask, which this is going to Assistant Regional Manager. Reason being for this is the fact that it's a bit of a plain pop, but it's from one of the better Dwight Schrute moments where he opens up the mask, or not the mask, but he opens up the face of the CPR doll and then puts it on his face to recreate Hannibal Lecter. That was such a funny scene, and even the quote was perfect. The only way that this probably would have made it to Regional Manager is if they would have made the face mask better. It just looks like Play-Doh or Silly Putty slapped onto a Dwight Schrute pop, in my opinion. Now we're going to look at the Funko Shop exclusive Dwight Schrute with Princess Unicorn doll, which this is going to Regional Manager. I do think this is a very great Dwight Schrute Funko Pop, and it is from a memorable moment where he buys all the Princess Unicorn dolls and essentially becomes a flipper. Us Funko fanatics know about those guys. I find it funny that Funko captivated on a character who essentially is a flipper in this episode, because this is a Funko Shop exclusive, that this was going to sell out in minutes and was going to be flipped for a decent amount of money when essentially this was first released. The detail involving the Princess Unicorn in the box itself is really cool, and I think the quote was pretty good. I felt like the quote should have been la 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 ka-ching. I think that would have been way too funny. Now we're going to look at the final Dwight Schrute pop, which is involved in the FYE exclusive Scranton Boys 2-pack with Michael Scott, and this is going under Identity Theft is Not a Joke. I think this is so great. It was so unexpected because it wasn't rumored by all these dirt sheet pages, and I think the detail on both Dwight and Michael are insane. The Dwight Schrute pop itself, where it's got the different like molds of his hands doing different poses, I think it's great, and it's from such a great moment in the office. And even the quote on the back, I thought it was going to say Scranton what, the Electric City, but they basically did like almost the first verse of the song. So yeah, I definitely think that this deserved to be in Identity Theft is Not a Joke.
Alright guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this ranking video, make sure you smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below on what your favorite Dwight Schrute Funko Pop was, and let me know, do you agree or disagree with my ranking list? And like I said earlier, press that subscribe button for more content like this video in the future, and press the little bell to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways guys, thank you for watching today's video, and hope to see you guys next time. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here. Follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Funko Popcast. If you want to check out some of our other content that's featured on our channel, you can click either the playlist that's on your screen right now featuring previous episodes of our weekly podcast, A Funko Popcast, or we have suggested a video for you guys in relation to today's video.